Hi, welcome once again in Debatiendo en la U, a space dedicated and created to understand, contextualize, and develop critical thinking based on global macroeconomic situations. Today, it is a fresh and topical subject, the Brexit. As a preamble, we should know that this may refers to the exit of Great Britain from European Union. It was born as a mechanism of cooperation between countries as an economic and political community or love constituted in a sui generis regime of its own genius or spaces, unique and unclassifiable of international organization created to promote and embrace integration and governance in common of the states and people of Europe. It is made up of 27 European states and was established with the entry into force of the Treaty on European Union (TEU) on November 1, 1993.
We want to emphasize that this union has done the system ever more free. And this diversity making decision making complex and many political interests come into play. And with me conflict is this diversity play an important role in has shaken this pillar of the Union once they is governed by the slow application of Article 50 of Treaty and our European Union went is activated for the first time in history. However, Maryland and depend what are the risks in the European and international context that have led to this situation and the consequences from its political, economical, and social points of view.
We must remember that the last November 2018, after a year and a half of negotiation, the British and the European task force entered the tunnel. Tunnel is like an indefinitive session without communication abroad. This to close a definitive agreement. They emerged on November 14th and announced such agreement. They had found solutions for the outstanding issues, basically that of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and the governance of agreement, jurisdiction of the CGJEU. Prime Minister May signed it a few days later and promised to have it approved by her parliament, with the result that we already know. For its part, the European Council also gave it its blessing and began preparation for its ratification.
At April 10, 2019, the European Council approved the decision to grant a new extension to allow the United Kingdom to ratify the withdrawal agreement from the European Union, where political pressure led to a call for new general elections and the precipitation of the non-deal Brexit. Additionally, the scenarios that arose after the land were analyzed as the future challenges that arise from Brexit for the EU member states.
A 2 years process was started that was to conclude with the departure of the United Kingdom on March 29 of the 2019. This period was first extended until April 12 of the 2019. The period was extended until October 31 of the 2019. And for the third and the last time, the deadline was extended again until January 31 of the 2020. And after that day, after the withdrawal agreement was definitely approved at 0 hours of Friday, January 31, the United Kingdom automatically left the Union European of the 23 British time on that day. Under this agreement, there will be a transitional period until December 31, 2020, for which the United Kingdom will remain in the European market, and citizens and companies will not notice differences. The United Kingdom and the EU will have to negotiate a new commercial relationship the next month.
It is important this separation will affect the United Kingdom in the terms of its internal regulation of the country, since it will no longer be affected by the harmonization of its legislation through directives with the rest of the member states, and the government and the parliament will the union again have the power to regulation. Furthermore, the free competition policy established by the European Union will not be applied. This measure will have to renegotiate in the bilateral trade agreements. Likewise, the United Kingdom will no longer be affected by the common commercial policy and the use foreign action that is the United Kingdom will no longer be represented by the use as the legal entity which allowed the use to be the subject of the international laws Art 47 TU. At the same time, bilateral international agreements and negotiation must be concluded with the rest of the state. Since the United Kingdom would instantly cease to be part of those ratified by the EU.
So, but we must clarify that the United Kingdom will cease to be as a member state, will become a third country with access to the single market only if the European Commission granted an equivalent regime to the member states it matters of the common market. At the same time, in the face of multiple political changes and awaiting negotiations, this has consequences for currencies.
Entering the field of taxes, the income for the European Union's budget is made up of traditional owned resources by the collection of VAT, value added tax, and finally, one of most controversial income be the contribution of member states. This last contribution must be applied with respect to the percentage of the economy of each country. The UK has a world of a reset economy in the EU, which means that it will be one of the countries with the largest contribution to EU budget.
So, about this, the departure of the United Kingdom from the Union will not pose such a serious problem as, in reality, counting of the British check like the correction applied to the United Kingdom due to its limited use of the budget allocated to PAC is community agricultural policy, to which approximately 75% of the community budget was designated, and currently this figure has been reduced to 40%. The United Kingdom is not one of the largest contributors to the budget. Moreover, about this contribution of member states to the budget, the United Kingdom is below the European average. Thus, countries with a lower GNI. GNI is like gross national income, such as Italy, contribute more.
Regarding the free movement of the merchandise, the United Kingdom will once again have the control over its borders in the terms of customs duties. At the cost for losing a single trade area, this would have negative consequences for both import and export of products in the United Kingdom by losing the capacity for the free movement of products well territory of the European Union. For example, Scotland wants to stay within the common market as its economic activity is based on the market dependent manufacturing sector of the member state.
The price increase in imports would apply a price increase to the payment of customs duties. This would affect a large part of the UK trade, since the main importer of products in this territory imports are Germany with 100 billion. In third place, the Netherlands with 50.7 billion, and in fifth place, France with 41.5 billion. Likewise, for UK products to enter the European Union, they would be subject to the payment of the EU Common Custom Tariff for entry into common markets, thus increase the price of the products, which would no longer be competitive, directly affecting their exports.
Among the economic consequences is the drop in Britain's bond yield to the loans signed in 1703. The Britain's currency plunged the in 1987 on the morning after the referendum. Some media report the hint of xenophobic hostility and the increases of between 54% and 57% in incidents of racism. Youth an attack in melee directed against Muslim and Polish immigrants, although act against Spanish community were also recorded. A British government report published in October of the same year confirmed that yet crimes rose 41% after the referendum.
As of February 1, an 11-month transition period begins, in which the United Kingdom will continue to be integrated into structures of the European Union. In this way, London and Brussels hope to negotiate a new bilateral relationship, including a trade agreement with it within that period to avoid an abrupt break in January 2021.
At least until December 31 and 2018 and for one or the more years. It is decided that this period is extended all the institutions, bodies of offices and agencies in the European Union will continue to have the power conferred on them by the Union laws in relation to the United Kingdom and to natural and legal persons residing or established in the United Kingdom.
Finally, the court justice of the European Union will continue to be accompanied in the relation to the United Kingdom during this transition period that is now opening. And furthermore, while it is in force, the United Kingdom may conclude international agreements with third countries and international organizations, provided that those agreements are not applied during the transition period.
Once again, we thank you for your attention and thank you, Michelle, for joining us in Debatiendo en la U. My job it has been to your complete liking and interesting. We are waiting for you in our next program in which will think about economy, political output of the crisis in Venezuela. Until next time.